Just a few miles south of the Canadian border lays one of the more bizarre shopping centers in the U.S., the Highgate Commons near St Albans, Vermont. Join me for a walk through a structure that few might consider a mall. Highgate Commons' roots can be traced to 1973 when it was first constructed. At the time, it featured modest offerings like W.T. Grant, Radio Shack, Martin's Supermarket, an original Ames, Franklin Memorial Bank, and Kinney Drugs. The shopping center even hosted a twin-screen cinema known as the Jerry Lewis Twin Cinema. This cinema unfortunately closed a mere 5 months after opening, facing heavy competition from the already established drive-in cinema and the downtown theater. While Highgate Commons was a strip mall first and foremost, the mall featured this unique interior corridor, serving as one giant breezeway for all the stores inside. You can go from store to store without ever having to go outside, which would be good for cold winter days this far up north. (1977) would see Woolworth arrive to replace W.T. Grant, which had shuttered by then. But 1979 would see some changes shake up the mall as more space was built up and Jo-Ann Fabric and Crafts would sign on as another major store. After this, we would see businesses come and go at the mall. The specific dates of when, I am unsure of. Ames would flee the property to get subdivided into Peebles and TJ Maxx. Martin's Supermarket would get replaced by Hannaford's Supermarket. And in the 90s, Hannaford's would double their store footprint. Meanwhile, Woolworth would get replaced by Staples. Now, as we're proceeding through this once around, you might notice that a lot of these names are gone. Well, Vermont is known for having the fewest national chains, and add on to the fact that chains are dying out left and right in the modern day, and you're finding a lot of empty space that Vermont will struggle to refill. Peebles is gone, along with Staples and a number of inlines, which includes Radio Shack, which had been here for the longest time until recently, I might add. However, Jo-Ann and TJ Maxx appear to still be committed to St Albans, and Hannaford's utility as a supermarket will ensure that it stays open until the end of time. Additionally, this is one of the few quote-unquote malls out there that still boasts a Pizza Hut, though the real staple for food would lay with Pie in the Sky, which locals rave about being awesome pizza. I regret not trying it for myself. But nonetheless, the Highgate Plaza has been through a lot and is still around for us to see, at least as of the making of this video. I do believe this mall would fall a little more into the hardcore side of the mall enthusiasts. It's really a no-frills corridor of concrete and brick with a glass front overlooking the parking lot. I doubt you're going to see the likes of Baltimore's elite touring this mall. Maybe a few New Yorkers will, if they're desperate. I tied this visit in with a much greater trip to New York's northern fringes along the Canadian border, and then worked my way towards Burlington, Vermont, which we'll see later, and then all the way to St. Johnsbury, which you'll see much later. Even though much of these parts are rural, there are still a lot of gems out here that just go completely missed by seemingly everybody else. You can also see some small-time businesses trying their hardest to make it work out here in St Albans. There's an auto parts store, errands, rent-a-center, which seems to be in a few northeastern malls. You also have Olympia Sports, the restaurants I mentioned earlier, Maurice's, even TJ Maxx is still hanging around. And of course, Hannaford Supermarket could theoretically last forever, even when this shopping center completely fails. That said though, I do hope all the businesses up here can make it through and stay on their feet. I may have my disputes with Vermont, but the last thing they need is more blighted land. We're about to see this one in a moment. I can't just skip it over entirely, but Hannaford Supermarket has its own little enclosed corridor. This oddly feels a little nostalgic actually, because I've been in quite a few supermarkets as a kid that did this kind of breezeway for their stores, and some of the stores in my area back home still do this. This Hannaford's though, seems to just split the shopping center's corridor in half. I could imagine one section of the mall being closed off altogether, and the remaining businesses there getting shuffled into the other half. Maybe that will happen? Who knows? Also, for those outside of the Northeast, if you want to know what Hannaford's is like, just think of your own regional supermarket back home. For example, Lowe's Foods or Harris Teeter down south, Publix of Florida, Weis Markets of Pennsylvania. That's basically what Hannaford's is like up here in Vermont. I have been in a couple stores to get supplies or to just browse, and they have a decent selection of stuff too. So, while I was here at Highgate Commons, I did pass by some guys who looked like utility workers. They were all crowded around the old entrance for Peebles, discussing something before heading inside of that building. Maybe you saw them in the video at some point. Maybe not. But this does make me wonder if there might be new replacement coming in for Peebles, or if it was just a routine inspection to make sure the building was up to code. Either way, might be worth keeping an eye out on this place. Given that this is still a somewhat active shopping center with people unpredictably passing in and out through the breezeways, it's probably best for us to head out soon. I do hope you enjoyed this more unique shopping space. Do share your own thoughts down in the comments below, be it positive or negative. And do like and subscribe. Keeps the engagement up and gets more eyes on places like these. Thanks for having me, St Albans, Vermont. And until next time, this is Doomie Grunt wishing you and the Highgate Commons farewell and good luck in this mad, mad world.